Hello students, welcome back to my class on our channel Amir Sir Asghar Sir on YouTube. I am ready with my next video, and our next video is continuation of the same topic, that is circles in class 10 SSLC. This time I am going to explain next theorem, that is theorem number 4.2. Theorem 4.2. This is the next theorem. In earlier video we discussed theorem 4.1 and problems based on that theorem, and today theorem 4.2. This theorem states, the statement of the theorem is, the lengths of tangents drawn from an external point. Lengths of tangents, as you can see in the figure, two tangents are drawn to this circle with center O from an external point P. Two tangents are drawn. PQ is one tangent and PR is another tangent. Q is point of contact here and R is point of contact here. So PQ and PR are two tangents to this circle. And the theorem says that tangents drawn, the lengths of the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. That means we have to show that PQ length of this tangent PQ is equal to PR, the length of this tangent. These two tangents PQ and PR are equal in length. This we have to prove. What we have to prove? What we have to prove is PQ, length of one tangent drawn from external point P, is equal to PR, another tangent drawn from the same external point. And remember one important thing, that from an external point, only two tangents can be drawn to a circle. From this point P, we can draw only two tangents to the circle. From this point, we cannot draw another tangent to this circle. Only two are possible. If you want to draw more, you have to take another point. From that point, imagine if I take a point here and I can draw two more. So from an external point, at most, maximum two tangents can be drawn to a circle. Okay. Now, our theorem says these two tangents are equal and we have to prove PQ is equal to PR. For that, to prove this, we have to understand what we studied in 8th standard, that is congruency of triangles. Congruency of triangles. I think you remember in 8th standard you have already studied congruency of triangles is based on four postulates. Four postulates are there. Those four postulates are SSS postulate, SSS postulate, SAS postulate, SAS, and ASA postulate, ASA, and one more is there, that is RHS. Four postulates are there to prove congruency of two triangles. According to this postulate, SSS, if two triangles have their corresponding sides equal, SSS stands for side, 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 side. If in two triangles their corresponding sides are equal in length, that means imagine here two triangles are there, triangle ABC and triangle DEF. In these two triangles, if side AB is equal to DE in length and BC is equal to EF and AC is equal to DF, if their corresponding sides are equal in length, then no need to see the angles. Angles will be definitely equal and these two triangles will be definitely congruent. If this condition satisfies, SSS, if this condition satisfies, if the corresponding sides are equal in length, all three sides of one triangle are equal to the corresponding sides of the other triangle, then the two triangles will definitely be congruent. We can say that triangle ABC is congruent to, this is the symbol of congruent, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. It means these two triangles are exactly the same in length of sides and their corresponding angles are equal and their shape is same, everything is same. If you take one triangle and put on the other, the two will look like one. One triangle will exactly fit behind the other. Right? Okay. So these two. First postulate I explained. Then SAS. It means side, angle, side. In two triangles, if two sides are equal, if two corresponding sides are equal, imagine I have drawn two triangles here. XYZ is one triangle, LMN is another triangle. Imagine XY is equal to LM and YZ is equal to LN. XZ is equal to LN. XY is equal to LM and XZ is equal to LN. What about this YZ and LN? We don't know. Imagine we don't know. And we know that angle X, which is in between these two sides, is equal to angle L, which is again in between these two sides. If this happens, then the other parts, the third sides will be equal and the other two angles will also be equal and the two triangles will become congruent. If these two sides and angle between them are equal, if this angle is equal to this angle, not this, then they will not be congruent. They may not be, we cannot say. But if two sides and angle coming between the two sides, this angle is coming between these two sides, right? And this angle is coming between these two sides. If two corresponding sides are equal and the angle between them are equal, then we can say that these two triangles are congruent. Side, angle, side postulate, right? Therefore, we can say triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle LMN. Like this. So SAS is also over. ASA, third one. According to this postulate, in two triangles, if two angles are equal, imagine angle M is equal to angle Q and angle L is equal to angle P, and the side between these two angles, which side is coming between these two angles? LM is coming. This side is equal to PQ. If two corresponding angles are equal and the side between the two angles are also equal, sides are equal, then ASA, angle, side, angle. ASA, angle, side, angle. If this happens, then the remaining parts, no need to worry about. The remaining parts means the two remaining sides and one angle will definitely be equal and the two triangles will become congruent. So here also, if this happens, if two angles and the side between them are equal, then also we can say that, here also we can say triangle LMN is congruent to triangle PQR. These two triangles become congruent. Now what about this one, RHS? If two triangles, they have one angle equal to right angle. R stands for right angle. R stands for right angle. In two triangles, if they both have one right angle. So this is right angle 90 degree, this is right angle 90. And H stands for hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, where is the hypotenuse? This TV will be the hypotenuse here. Here RT will be the hypotenuse. So this hypotenuse is equal to this. And S stands for side. And if any one side, this and this, or maybe this and this are equal. If two triangles have one right angle and their hypotenuse are equal, and any one side out of remaining two are equal, then according to RHS postulate, these two triangles also become congruent. That means no need to see the other things, they will be definitely equal in length, and the two triangles become congruent. If you take this triangle and put on this, then this will completely cover it, and RST will hide behind TUV. You cannot see any. They will match, they will coincide with each other. So we can say triangle TUV is congruent to triangle RST. Triangle TUV is congruent to triangle RST. So these are the four postulates which I thought will be good to discuss before explaining the theorem, so that what you studied in previous class 8th standard about postulates of congruency also cleared, right? Now let's go on to our main topic, right? Our main topic is circles, theorem 4.2, right? Now we have to prove, already I have written, we have to prove that the tangents drawn from an external point, P is external point, which is outside. External means outside, P is outside the circle. So from an external point P, two tangents are drawn, PQ and PR. We have to prove that these two tangents are equal in length. These two tangents are equal. For that we'll do construction. We'll construct. In construction, what we are going to do is join OP. Join point P and O. Join that. Join OP. Join OP. And also join OQ and OR. Join point Q with O. And also join point R and O. What did we do? Join O, Q, O and Q. Join O and P, points O and P. Join O, point O and R. Right? Now, after doing this, after the construction, we see two triangles here. We see two triangles here. Triangle OPQ and triangle OPR. We see in triangle OPQ and triangle OPR. Two triangles are formed. This is one triangle and this is another triangle. Two triangles are formed, right? Now, in these two triangles, clearly, two OQ and OR, the two sides, OQ and OR will be equal. Now question comes why? Because OQ and OP, they are the radii of the same circle, right? And we know that all the radii of a circle are equal in length. We have already discussed this in basic concept of circles. When I started this chapter, circles, you can watch that earlier video, the first video on circles, that is basic concept of circles. We have discussed OQ is equal to OR. So can I write OQ is equal to OR? Yes. Why? You have to give the reason. Because radii of the same circle. These two are the radii of same circle. OQ is equal to OR. Now, angle OQP will be 90 degree. Why? Because we have discussed in 4.1 theorem, angle between radius and tangent. If you remember, we discussed angle between radius and tangent is always equal to 90 degree. So this is the angle between, this is the radius and this is the tangent. Radius and tangent at the point of contact are perpendicular to each other. So this is 90. In the same way, OR is radius and PR is tangent. So this angle must also be equal to 90 degrees. They must also be perpendicular. OR is perpendicular to PR. Radius and tangent. Radius and tangent are always perpendicular to each other at the point of contact, right? Okay, so can I say angle OQP is equal to angle ORP is equal to 90 degree. The reason? Because theorem 4.1, we studied this in theorem 4.1. Angle between tangent and radius. Angle between tangent and radius at the point of contact are always equal to 90 degree. This is 90, this is also 90. So the two angles are equal. Now, what about OP? If you observe carefully, OP is common side. OP is a side of this triangle and OP is a side of this triangle also. And OP, because it is only one side coming common to both triangles, so its length will be equal. It will have the same length, right? OP is equal to OP. OP in triangle OPQ and OP is also coming in triangle OPR. So OP is equal to OP. Why? Because you have to give reason. Common side. Now what happened here? See, S side AS. SAS is happening here. Side angle side. Side angle side. Right? Two sides are equal and the angle between them. Two sides are equal. This is one side and this is another side. And angle between them is also equal. Two sides are equal and their corresponding and angle coming between them also equal. So what happens here? If the two sides are equal and the angle between them is equal, then definitely these two triangles are congruent. If these two triangles are congruent, then the remaining sides must also be equal. Therefore, I can say triangle OPQ is congruent to triangle OPQ is congruent to triangle. No, wait a minute. We are not getting here. This is not SAS. I'm sorry, my mistake. It is not SAS. RHS is happening here. RHS. They both have 190 degree. Right? They both have 190 degree. Then hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? Which is the hypotenuse of this? OP is the hypotenuse. Which is the hypotenuse of this triangle? OP. OP is hypotenuse of both triangles. Hypotenuse is side opposite to 90 degree. So hypotenuse are also equal. OP is equal to OP. And S means any one side. We are having this side equal. Right? OQ is equal to. So RHS is happening here. Not SAS, but RHS is happening. So triangle OPQ is congruent to triangle OPR because of RHS postulate is becoming true here. Right? RHS, because of these two. If these two triangles are congruent, then the remaining things must also be equal. The remaining angles must be equal. Like when we have an angle here, we have an angle, these two must be equal. We have an angle here, we have an angle here, must also be equal. And the remaining sides must be equal. So which are the remaining sides? PQ and PR. So therefore PQ must be equal to PR because they are the sides of congruent triangles. They are the sides of congruent triangles. Right? We know that all the sides of two congruent triangles, all the sides of congruent triangles are equal, all parts are equal, and we have already proved that these two triangles are congruent, therefore their sides must be equal. PQ is equal to PR. Hence we got what we had to prove. Hence we got what we had to prove. So we got it, right? I hope you all understood this theorem. Pause the video and note it down, or it is already there in your reader. This theorem usually comes in exam for 3 marks. It is an important theorem. Then if this theorem doesn't come, then a problem comes on this theorem, that we have problems, we have questions based on this theorem in reader. In my next video, in our next classes, we will solve the problems based on this theorem. Hope you all understood. I want you to subscribe the channel, share it with your friends and relatives, like it, comment, and do subscribe our channel. Thank you.